tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu, jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tuijenge jumuiya bora, jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Let us bow in prayer. Our Father and our God, we come before you this morning and we thank you for waking us up another day. We thank you for the gift of life. Oh God, you tell us that you're a God of justice and that all you desire of us is for us to walk justly and to do justice and to love mercy. You tell us that you hate wrongdoing. And Lord, we know it to be true that those who mostly require the services of an advocate most times are the ones who can least afford it. And so as we come before you this week to serve you by serving others, by doing pro bono work, and by giving of ourselves freely to those who need our services, we ask you to recompense us for that by giving us your blessings. Bless every advocate and every lawyer and paralegal who will volunteer their time during this week of service. We ask you to bless our guests and the organizers of this event, and that you may be good to them and give them your favor because of their work during this week. As we get to start, O Lord, we ask you to be with us, keep all of us safe, and let no harm befall us during this week. This is my prayer to you. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. We may take our seats. Allow me to recognize our chief guest once more, Honorable Mother Karua, Senior Counsel. We thank you and appreciate you for coming today. The Deputy Solicitor General, Madam Christina Gimba, representing the Attorney General, thank you very much. Commissioner Masharia Njeru, the Law Society of Kenya representative to the Judicial Service Commission, thank you for coming. The Law Society of Kenya chairperson and council member, chairperson of the PRL and Human Rights Committee, under which this Legal Awareness Week is anchored, Madam Faith Monio Odhiambo, thank you and welcome. And most important, the chair of Nairobi branch of the Law Society of Kenya, Mr. Eric Theuri, thank you. And thank you to the council or members of the Nairobi branch for supporting the hosting of this launch and the hosting of the Legal Awareness Week throughout the country, and specifically the activities that will be undertaken in Nairobi. In attendance, we also have council member of the Council of the Law Society of Kenya, Madam Caroline Mudeu. All senior members of the bar present feel appreciated and welcomed today. Colleagues, representative of the various institutions that have partnered with us today, I welcome you to our day of the launch of the Legal Awareness Week. I'll just say a few remarks, and then I will invite a few of our guests to give us a few remarks also. Because of time, I will be very brief, and I would like to appreciate all the members of the Law Society of Kenya. During the Legal Awareness Week, we dedicate more than 18,000 advocates and 11,000 who are active and taking out practicing certificate distributed across the country to offer legal services for free, legal aid, legal awareness to members of the public. We recognize that we have many members of the public who, for one reason or the other, are unable to access the services of advocates. And therefore, during this week, we dedicate all these lawyers to the members of public so that they can be able to access them for free at no cost. We recognize that the judiciary has adopted very many programs and initiatives towards enhancing access to justice. And most important, and during this COVID-19, we have had the use of online court sessions, online filing of court pleadings. And recently we had the High Court declare that members of public, especially the indigent, need to be availed initiatives and programs that will enable them to be able to access the online court systems, courtesy of a case filed by Kituo cha Sheria. During this week, the lawyers all over the country will be available to assist the indigent, drafting of pleadings, filing of pleadings online, including training them on how to self-represent themselves, and in some of the very needy cases, lawyers will be able to take up those matters for free. And now that we have Commissioner Macharia Njeru, I know that the judiciary, and we call upon the Chief Justice to establish a task force that will be able to implement and put in place the initiatives and programs, including legal aid centers in courts, to enable the implementation of the case that I've talked about, where the judiciary was given 90 days within which to do that. I'm happy that during this week, the lawyers will be part of that program and be able to assist members of public to access justice through support on accessing the e-filing system in court and also self-representation. Allow me to welcome the chair of Nairobi branch, Mr. Eric Theuri, to give us opening remarks and also to welcome us during this session today. Welcome.
The chief guest, the Honorable Martha Karua, Senior Counsel, Ms. Christina Gimba, the Deputy Solicitor General, Commissioner Macharia Njeru, the LSK Male Representative to the JSC, the CEO of the Law Society of Kenya, council members of the Law Society of Kenya present, council members of the Nairobi branch present, my colleagues, and our guest this morning. Good morning. Good morning once again. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the launch of the Legal Aid Week. This is a week in which advocates congregate to offer free legal services to members of the public. This event is being held across the country, across the 8 branches of the Law Society of Kenya, and at Nairobi branch, because we have jurisdiction within Nairobi and Thika, we'll be having this event at the Milimani court parking where we currently are, at the Supreme Court, at the Cadiz Court, the Makadara Court, Kibera Court, Kiambu Law Court, and the Thika Law Court. So if you're within those areas, please visit our tents, and you should be able to get advocates from within the branch to be able to attend to your legal needs and give advice on the challenges that you are facing. On this occasion, allow me to underscore the importance of legal aid, because the only way as advocates we can improve the criminal justice system is by offering legal aid. We recognize the various challenges that are faced by indigent members of the public in accessing services at the courts, and we recognize the difficulty in which members of the public have faced accessing justice, especially during the COVID pandemic period. Our members have been attending to our clients at the courts virtually. Sometimes we've had to go to police stations, and it has not been a very easy experience. And we can say without any fear of contradiction that during this period, access to justice has faced severe constraints. We also recognize the effort that the judiciary has taken to eradicate some of these challenges, but we note that it has faced critical challenges with provision of infrastructure to support these services. We therefore call on the government to ensure that it allocates sufficient resources to the judiciary so that it can be able to support critical service provisions like e-filing, the virtual courts. A place like Milimani suffers occasionally from intermittent internet disruptions just because the judiciary is unable to provide sufficient internet bandwidth to sustain the online court. So we are hoping that the government will, in the next financial year, give the judiciary sufficient resources so that it can be able to host e-filing, set up the clinics that have been intended, the virtual courts assistance clinics that are intended to assist members of the public access justice. To my colleagues, and I want to note with particular delight the participation this year of several universities, university students in the legal aid provision. We think that this is a step in the right direction because it is important as you undertake your legal studies to understand that for a lawyer, there is always an obligation to give back to the society. There is an obligation to assist members of the public who are not able to afford legal services. And so we laud your participation in this Legal Awareness Week, and we are hoping, particularly as a branch, that we can entrench this engagement so that as we go out to offer legal services, we can be able to partner with the universities and give them practical experiences under the tutelage of your colleagues who are in practice, so that you can start to pick up these good attributes of offering legal aid to the indigent in society. We also note the severe constraints, especially in Milimani and within Kiambu, of judicial resources. We recognize that we do not have enough judges to serve within Milimani and within Thika and Kiambu. We recognize that we do not have enough judicial officers and clerks. And again, we impress upon the government to ensure that the judiciary is given the resources that it needs. And on this note, I would also take this opportunity to urge the President of the Republic of Kenya to comply with the decision that has been given by the courts to swear in the remaining 6 judges, because the President has no other obligation than to uphold the Constitution. The President cannot be seen to send a message that court orders are mere suggestions and that he is above the law. That situation in itself sends a dangerous message to the administration of justice and is a threat to the rule of law and administration of justice. And so we are hoping that the President will, in as much as he has exercised the undoubted right that he has to comply, to appeal, that in the event the Court of Appeal does not stay that decision, that he should lead the country by example and comply with the court order. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to thank all of you for joining us today in leading the way, giving legal services to those of us in the society that are unable to afford it and require it most. This is a sacrifice that will not go unrecognized, and as a branch we have made it a very we've taken a deliberate decision that at every awards we would be recognizing those who give free services under the pro bono schemes. And I think I must note that recently we had discussions with judges of the Court of Appeal, and they indicated that they have very few lawyers who are serving on their pro bono scheme. We did issue a call for advocates to join that scheme, and we have about 30 lawyers who have agreed to join the Court of Appeal pro bono scheme. We are hoping that more advocates would join the High Court pro bono scheme so that we can kickstart the process of hearing those appeals that have been stuck for long, especially the murder appeals in the High Court. They have been stuck because of COVID, and the court now wants to accelerate that process. So we call upon our members to volunteer themselves to offer services both at the High Court pro bono scheme and at the Court of Appeal. And when that is given, we will ensure that due recognition of your contribution is given. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending today's session, and feel at home. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Chairman. Let us give the chairman a better applause. As I invite the chair of Pll Committee, I will recognize the organizations that have joined us today. And if you are here, kindly wave. Representative of IPOA. Where are you? We have IPOA with us today. Kituo cha Sheria. Crew Kenya. Kenya section of ICJ. ICJ Kenya. East Africa Court of Justice. Thank you. Kenya National Human Rights Commission. Thank you. Insurance Regulatory Authority. They are here with us. Kenya Law. Thank you. Kenya School of Law. Santeni. Katindi and Company Advocates. FIDA Kenya. Thank you. CLEAR, a project of Kenya Christian Lawyers Fellowship. Africa Femosotua. Thank you very much. And Nairobi branch, of course, the chair has talked to us. We have institutions, including universities. University of Nairobi. They must be on their way. Kenyatta University. Thank you very much for turning up. Faith.
Good morning, everyone. The chief guest, Honorable Martha Karua, Senior Counsel, our prestigious guests. Sorry, let me just. The chief guest, Honorable Martha Karua, Senior Counsel, our prestigious guests, the Deputy Solicitor General, Christina Gumba, Commissioner Masharian Jeru, council members of the Law Society of Kenya present. Here with us we have Caroline Muveu. You can wave to the crowd. The chairperson of the law of the Nairobi branch. Thank you for hosting us today. The council members of the Nairobi branch, our CEO Mercy Wambua, your deputy Florence Muturi, and also our staff members who have supported this event of the Law Society of Kenya. Wangari and your team, kindly wave to the crowd. So they'll be here the entire week. I also recognize the Public Interest Litigation Committee members of the Law Society. I saw Dudley is in the house, and any other member, please wave to the crowd. Our advocates and colleagues. So thank you for honoring this call to support members of the public. It is our responsibility and duty as advocates to give back to the society. So I thank you for coming out in large numbers, and we'll be expecting to see you the entire week. I also thank our devolution chairperson, Kipnetich Bernard. Is not here with us, but he'll be joining the Nakuru branch as it launches the Legal Awareness Week. And I thank the caucus of the branch chairs for agreeing to take up this responsibility. Last year, it was hosted by the National Council, the Law Society of Kenya, National Council. This time, we have given the baton back to the branches, and that's why I thank you so much, Chair Eric Theuri, for taking up this mantle to launch it here in Nairobi, and also all the other branch chairs who are launching it in their various branches all over the country. This is the spirit of devolution which the council supports, and we hope to see it more and more, that we'll be working together and that we can strengthen the branches. And just to reiterate what the chair has said, you're called up in large numbers to join the public interest litigation committees, not only of the National Council, which if you want to join, you send your interest to Wangare, who supports the committee, but also for the branches. The chair may have not talked about it, but also the various branches have public interest litigation committees. And our aim as the Law Society is that we're able to reach our members as much as possible, and also members of the public, but as close as possible. Now that we not only have the online courts, but also for those who we have to attend physically, the branches are able to reach you faster, especially the various cases we had on gender-based violence and human rights violations due to the curfew regulations that were on, and the branches were able to come in quickly and were able to support members of the public. Our CEO will still confirm that our hotline is still available, and we work based on the cases that are reported using the hotline. We're able to work closely with the caucus of branches to be able to ensure advocates are able to reach as many members of the public. So the hotline is still there, and the CEO is going to indicate the number of the hotline, and that we're able to reach as many members as possible. Please use it for any human rights violations. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank our Public Interest Litigation Committee. We have been able to have as many cases. This time we have had a very vibrant PRL committee in terms of the kind of jurisprudence that are coming out from the Law Society. So, and even the students that are here today, these are opportunities for you to grow yourself in the kind of jurisprudence that you will leave a mark as an advocate. No case is too small. Be it criminal, be it civil, be it commercial, there's no small case. Your case could turn out to be the one that ends up till the Supreme Court, that makes a change in how the jurisprudence of the country runs. So take this opportunity as a learning opportunity. You've heard of the various avenues that you can join as you start up in practice, and through pro bono cases you may end up landing one of your best clients, because they will see the value of your work. You will also get to learn when you meet others in the High Court, and the sky is the limit. You've seen also from the BBI case, young lawyers are taking up the mantle. So this is a challenge for you, and a challenge to as many young lawyers. Please come out in huge numbers and support. And we also thank the seniors for also all the support that they have granted in terms of always coming out for the Legal Awareness Week. So with my few remarks, I thank our guests for attending today. I thank all our colleagues for attending, and I hope that we can make a mark, and this week may be a vibrant week, not only for the CPD points, but also to make a mark to the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faith. Before I hand over to the chair, Theuri, to take us through the rest of the program, I would like to confirm to the members of the public that in addition to the clinics that we have pitched across the courts in the country, some of our branches are also going to the community to offer legal aid. And specifically for me to mention Southwest branch with its headquarters in Kisii, that even yesterday they already visited the community, where in the last 2 weeks or 1 week, we saw the killings of 4 people brutally alleged to be practicing witchcraft. And this is a call to members of public that when the judiciary talks about promotion of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, those ones do not apply. Those are criminal acts, and the Law Society of Kenya, through the West Kenya branch, is already on the ground assisting the police and other law enforcement agencies to ensure that the perpetrators of such heinous acts are brought to book, and also to educate the community on the appropriate mechanism to resolve any disputes if at all they arise. So we welcome our members of the Law Society of Kenya Advocates to join our branches wherever they are in all the activities that we have planned across this week. I'll now hand over to the chair of Nairobi branch, Mr. Eric Theuri, to take us through the remaining part of the program.
Thank you so much, Madam CEO. Thank you for the good work that you continue to do at the Law Society of Kenya. We all appreciate it. It is now my pleasure to invite to the podium our Commissioner, Commissioner Mashari Njeru. He's, as you all know, the LSK male representative to the JSC, to give us his remarks. Asante, karibu Commissioner.
Thank you, Chairman. Our chief guest, Honorable Martha Karua from the Council, the Deputy Solicitor General, Madam Christina Gimba, the members of the Council of the Law Society who are present, our able CEO, and the Council members of Nairobi branch, and all the distinguished guests who are present. I feel quite privileged to be part of this function today, primarily because this is one of the most important exercises that the Law Society is mandated actually by law to undertake. I dare say that it informs one of the primary objectives for which the Law Society exists, which is to ensure that there's access to justice to all and to assist members of the public insofar as matters of law are concerned. I particularly feel also privileged to be in the presence of Honorable Mother Karua, who since my early days as a lawyer, I used to admire a lot. For those who are fairly young in the profession, you may not know that she has had stellar performance in terms of ensuring that there is fidelity to the law and ensuring that the rule of law is a primary objective of not only the Law Society, but also lawyers who are practicing and who really believe in it. I've always said that I recall during my early days, there were many who are scared of facing the one-party system then. But she was one of the very few who were brave enough to ensure that at least, that Kenyans got, the democracy that they so desired, and that constitutionalism was adhered to. And up to this day, I always look upon her whenever I think of those who have played a critical role. So to me, by inviting her as a chief guest, I think that was a very wise choice. And I was pleasantly surprised to note that, she is here with us today. Let me now say that I think for us as lawyers, we need to go back to where we started from. Because I recall many years back, there were very many of us who were taking cases pro bono. And money was not really the driving force in taking some of these cases. And if you look at the cases that have had immense impact in terms of development of jurisprudence and also impact on the society and at large, it is not those cases where lawyers have been paid huge sums of money. It is not those cases where the payment of legal fees has been the driving factor. It is those cases where ensuring access to justice and ensuring that those meek and low, those who are not able to get those who do not have ability to pay high-flying lawyers, those who indeed have rights that need to be protected, it is those cases that have been taken by those lawyers who sacrifice, that have indeed turned around to be the cases that made a huge impact. And it will be important if we can go back to those days and ensure that at least each one of us, we can take 2 or 3 cases every year, and those who are able to take even more, to ensure that access to justice is indeed realized. Because if we make money the primary objective, and we ignore the public interest, and we ignore those who deserve our services, then we'll be failing in our duty as a lawyers. I know for a fact that in our law firm, this year we took it upon ourselves to ensure that we've taken 20 cases. But it's because we are able to take 20 cases. The others who may not be able. But if we can ensure at least everybody can take a few cases and pursue them relentlessly on behalf of those who cannot afford our services, then we'll be playing our duty as we are supposed to do as lawyers. Secondly, as we do that, I think it's important for us as lawyers to also be at the forefront in ensuring that we obey the law ourselves, that we are practicing corporate governance, that we are ethical, and that we have integrity in whatever we do, so that we can set the right example to the society. There are many in public who look upon us as lawyers, and when we don't do things the right way, then it becomes one of the ways of encouraging others also not to adhere to the rule of law and to obey the law and to ensure that we are doing the right thing. So it's extremely important that we ourselves, we are practicing what we preach. Finally, let me take this opportunity to thank all those who have attended, because I think it's a sacrifice, and it shows that there are still very many of us who believe in the right thing. In spite of sometimes situations that present itself where we want to give up, we should never give up. We should always know that it's our country, it's our society, and it's upon us to ensure that we are building it, and it's upon us to ensure that at all times we keep the pressure so that ultimately the public is the winner, not the individual. I thank you all for listening to me, and God bless you, and I look forward to participating in this legal awareness week. Even after we finish here, I would also want to ensure that I grant those services to those who cannot afford. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner, for those comments, and by reaffirming or calling on our colleagues to re-examine ourselves and to go back to the ethos of provision of service to those that cannot be able to afford. We are grateful for your attendance today. It is a demonstration of your commitment to the rule of law and access to justice. Ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, allow me now to invite the representative of the Attorney General, Madam Christina Gimba, the Deputy Solicitor General. Let's give her a round of applause as we welcome her to make a round of remarks.
Good morning, everyone. The chief guest, Honorable Martha Karua, Council, Commissioner Masharia Jeru of the Judicial Service Commission, council members of the Law Society present, and I recognize Faith and Caroline, our host, Eric, chairman of the Nairobi branch of the LSK, my learned colleagues present here, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank our host, the chairman of the Law Society, for the invitation extended to the Honorable the Attorney General to attend the launch of this year's Law Society of Kenya's Legal Awareness Week. Allow me also to convey warm greetings from the Attorney General and from my colleagues at the Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice. It gives me great pleasure to represent the Honorable Attorney General and to make some remarks on his behalf during the launch of this Legal Awareness Week. The theme for this year, Sovereignty of the People and Access to Justice, brings to sharp focus the first article of the Constitution, which clearly states that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised in accordance with the Constitution. And it also brings to sharp focus the fact that this sovereign power is delegated to the three arms of government at both national and county levels. The Constitution also highlights the imperative that all state organs must ensure, as far as is reasonably possible, to make services accessible to all citizens and to uphold national values and principles of governance, which include the rule of law, human dignity, equity, social justice, human rights, non-discrimination, protection of the marginalized, just to highlight a few of the values and principles as set out in Article 10 of the Constitution. So when we think of access to justice, which is a basic tenet of the rule of law, we are concerned about the right of every individual to have his or her grievance heard and determined on its merits by an independent judiciary. We are concerned about having meaningful access to justice by ensuring that citizens are aware of their rights as enshrined in various laws, and that they also understand how the legal system works. Lack of access to legal information by citizens, therefore, is a great barrier to access to justice, and it reinforces existing inequities, and where indigent citizens are without access to legal address or representation, they cannot exercise their rights, they cannot challenge incidents of discrimination, and they cannot hold decision makers accountable. So access to justice is an issue that must continuously occupy the minds of all actors in the justice sector. Our constitution under Article 48 makes it clear that the state shall ensure justice to all persons. So state actors are obligated to promote access to justice. On our part, the Office of the Attorney General has a key role to play in promoting access to justice. The Legal Aid Act number 6 of 2016 gives effect to Articles 19.2, 48, 50, 2G, and 8 of the Constitution to facilitate access to justice and social justice, and provides the legal and institutional framework for legal aid in Kenya. So the National Legal Aid Service, which is housed under the Attorney General's office, has been established to do various things, to provide legal aid services to indigent, marginalized, and vulnerable people, to establish a legal aid scheme to assist the indigent to access legal aid, to promote legal literacy and legal awareness, to support community legal aid services by funding justice advisory centers, education and research, and also to promote the use of alternative dispute resolution methods that enhance access to justice. So through the NLAS, we continue to make good progress in rolling out legal aid and creating awareness on matters touching on legal aid and access to justice for the vulnerable, marginalized, and indigent in Kenya, throughout Kenya. And we do this with assistance of our development partners. The government also is in the process of implementing a national legal aid and awareness plan for the years 2017 to 2022. This plan is an overarching policy to address issues pertaining to legal aid and access to justice in the country. The policy recognizes legal aid as a critical component of enhancing access to justice in the country and emphasizes the need to ensure that right to access to justice as a constitutional right. The goal of the plan is to enhance the facilitation of access to justice through a national, sustainable, and quality legal aid and awareness framework in line with the Constitution and with regional and international human rights standards. As you're aware, this was a plan developed through extensive consultations with legal aid actors, and many of you are represented here. And this was undertaken over the years and serves as a roadmap for the coordinated implementation of legal aid interventions by the government and by legal aid actors across development sectors. So together, as actors in the justice sector, we must continue to collaborate to ensure the effective and increased access to justice by continuously identifying, highlighting, and addressing issues that are barriers to or that impede access to justice. And I think for this reason, we must commend the Law Society of Kenya for taking the lead in initiating and sustaining annual activities aimed at informing the public on the role of legal aid and also thank the various organizations present here today who are participating in advancing legal literacy, advocacy, and representation. it is indeed commendable that the LSK sets aside a week every year to allow the legal community throughout the Republic an opportunity to serve the public interest. The commitment of the legal fraternity in offering pro bono legal services is very laudable. Pro bono services not only supports efforts towards meaningful access to justice to those in need of legal aid and representation but cannot afford it, it also improves the public perception of the legal professionals. I'm sure you will agree with that. So to conclude, let me then wish all of you the very best at the start of this week's activities of the Legal Awareness Week, and to assure you of the support of the Office of the Attorney General in your endeavors. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.